Alexander Isak trains with Liverpool for first time ahead of possible debut against Burnley. Isak has been put through his paces AXA Training Centre ahead of a potential debut this weekend. Alexander Isak has trained with his new Liverpool teammates for the first time today following his deadline day transfer. Isak completed his £125 million, potentially rising to £130 million British transfer record move to Liverpool at the beginning of the month, but was immediately whisked away to Sweden for international duty. The 25-year-old was named in the Sweden squad for World Cup qualifiers against Slovenia and Kosovo, despite not featuring at all for Newcastle during pre-season or in the opening 3 games of the Premier League campaign. Isak was an unused substitute in the 2-2 draw with Slovenia last Friday, but got some much-needed minutes under his belt in the frustrating 2-0 loss in Kosovo 3 days later. Now Isak can turn his attentions to club matters. Liverpool's international stars are slowly reporting back for training ahead of Sunday's Premier League clash against newly promoted Burnley. Isak was among the first batch to return on Wednesday, as with the moment he arrived at the AXA Training Centre being captured by the club's photographers ahead of the session. Isak's first session as a Liverpool player included some gym work alongside Joe Gomez and Federico Chiesa, Alexis Mac Allister, Alisson Becker, Ibrahima Konate, Dominic Szoboszlai, Milos Kerkez and Mohamed Salah will be among the last senior players to report back for training, having featured for their respective nations on Tuesday night, or in some cases the early hours on Wednesday morning, UK time. Isak will hope to make his debut on Sunday when the Premier League champions face the Clarets at Turf Moor, hoping to make it 4 wins from 4 at the start of the season. Liverpool head coach Arne Slot will provide an update on Isak's fitness when he previews the Burnley fixture in his pre-match press conference later this week. Eddie Howe sends Alexander Isak warning to Liverpool after debut plan revealed. Eddie Howe admitted Newcastle's concerns about Alexander Isak's match fitness levels before his move to Liverpool. Alexander Isak could be in line to make his debut for Liverpool this weekend when the Reds travel to Burnley, but Eddie Howe has sent a warning regarding his former striker. The Swede left Newcastle United in a British record £125 million deal on transfer deadline day, bringing an end to a summer-long saga. The 25-year-old made his first appearance since the final day of last season during the September international break, featuring for the final 18 minutes as a substitute in Sweden's 2-0 loss to Kosovo. Having been determined to leave Newcastle during the summer, Isak missed their pre-season clash with Celtic before skipping their tour of the Far East. He then trained alone, away from the group, following the Magpies' return to Tyneside, having trained on an individual basis at former club, Real Sociedad, while his teammates were away in Asia. The Chronicle reports that Newcastle staff had concerns regarding Isak's fitness levels as a result, but had put together a plan for the striker in the event of him remaining at St James's Park. Their expectation was that it would take him until after the next international break in October to get back to his best levels. And in previously unreleased quotes from Howe, speaking on the eve of Isak's eventual move to Liverpool, the Newcastle boss admitted that the striker's lack of match fitness was a concern. Alex had been working individually with our sports science department, and they have been getting him fit, he said. But in terms of how match fit he is, and what he's actually done, it is difficult to judge. Match fitness is very different. That how long he plays for is for Alex and Sweden manager John Dahl Tomasson to decide. Tomasson would later reveal that he had no plans to do stupid things with Isak following his disjointed pre-season. Meanwhile, the striker himself admitted after completing his move to Liverpool that it would take time for him to get back to his best levels. Yeah, of course, Isak responded when asked by club media if he's aiming for Liverpool's game against Burnley on 14 September to be his first appearance in a red shirt. I think that's the ambition. However, I've had a tricky summer where I haven't played any games, and I've had restricted training, so I think that's one to judge and to analyze where I am at and how much I am ready to give, but I certainly want to play as soon as possible. Nobby Solano has told Alexander Isak he could have had it all at Newcastle United until he joined Liverpool. Fans are probably fed up with hearing about the Swede following a summer-long saga that plagued St James's Park. Isak infamously downed tools to force through his Liverpool move, costing Newcastle vital Premier League points in the process. Doing so severed his relationship with supporters who made their voices known at Villa Park and Elland Road. He ultimately left for a British transfer record on deadline day, with the Magpies signing Yoanni Wissa and Nick Woltemade to replace him. Speaking to the Chronicle, former Toon midfielder Solano, who enjoys cult hero status at St James's Park, insisted Isak could have surpassed Alan Shearer. However, he chose to insult the Geordie public by forcing a switch to Liverpool. Alex could have had it all, even Alan Shearer's crown as the club's record scorer, Solano said. It's not a good look for Alex this, and when things settle down he will realize why Newcastle's faithful fans feel insulted by his actions, and that's what refusing to play is, insulting to the paying Geordie public. He was welcomed with open arms to the city like I was, and many others, so I can see why fans are disappointed. At 25 and with 3 years left on his deal, I think he could have got close to that because Newcastle would have given him a job for life. The No Iron shirt was vacant and would have been his to take at Newcastle. Alex has looked after himself really, and not the club or the fans. Shearer also slammed Isak's actions, believing they set a dangerous precedent for transfers going forward. He told the Rest is Football podcast, "Unfortunately, I think because of what's happened with Isak and what's happened with Wissa, then you will see more players refusing to play. I don't like it. I don't think any fan likes it, and I can't say because of the Isak situation. I also have to mention the Wissa situation
situation, and him going to Newcastle. I don't like what the players have done. It's not a good look for football, but unfortunately, I think because of those two, getting their moves, particularly the Isak one, because that's been more high profile than anything I can ever remember, then players will look at that and think if he or they did it, then I can do it. In a social media message viewed as too little too late by Newcastle fans, Isak wrote, "I want to express my gratitude to my teammates, the staff, and above all the city of Newcastle, and all the amazing supporters for the 3 unforgettable years we shared together. Together we have written history and brought the club to the place where it truly belongs. It has been an honor to be part of the journey, from reaching the Champions League to winning the first trophy in over 70 years. Forever grateful. Thank you, Newcastle."